Hello, Chris.
Hello, mate.
You haven't changed your shirt in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to another Friday Chris and Rob
Welcome along. Catch up with
rant
Chris and Rob.
talk. What you tell us what we call this, Chris?
Yeah, Robert's Dev Talk Rant.
Rant. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Now, this is going to cause a rant, and please do give your opinions
Feel free to chip
in the
in the comments.
in the comments. There, I've done it. There, I asked this. But Chris, recently,
Yeah.
after many years of being a Windows laptop user, you switched to Apple Silicon.
Yeah.
Which of course
It's
I
the
made.
dark side.
I joined the dark side a long time ago, as you know,
I'm Mac user, aren't you?
and it did kind of remind me of when I was a boy, and you'd have heated arguments about the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64 in the playground. It got a little bit like that with
Yeah.
Windows
Not quite as bitter.
and Macs. But just before we start, I was going to say why the move, but do you remember we dipped our toe in the Apple Silicon, didn't we, when they had very cheap M1
Yeah.
MacBook Airs? Do you remember we both
Yeah.
bought one about? I think it cost us about 700 quid,
Yeah.
$1,000, for our cousins across the pond. It was it was for us. It was kind of an inexpensive way to get a laptop. We were just blown away by it, weren't we? Editing videos, DaVinci
Oh,
Resolve. We thought, how this is like some kind of dark magic. How now I know years on we've got Snapdragon and all these different things, haven't
yeah.
we? But why did you move after so many years? And I did miss hearing the sound of the fans, when we worked together from your Windows laptop. But
Is
anyway,
that
I'm
is that a
being
space
biased again.
or is that Chris's laptop cooling itself
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, this
Good
was
in
the thing.
winter. Good in winter. That was sitting up.
Yeah, you can warm yourself on
Yeah,
on my laptop. It's well, I mean, I've been a long time Windows user, many
yeah.
years, and I was always dying hard Windows.
Mm.
Um, but I suppose my complaints, I'd wanted to move to Mac for a long time, and my complaints against it weren't so much problem with Windows. It's just I maybe fell unlucky because I had an XPS for years, Dell XPS for years. It was a
Yeah,
great laptop.
nice.
When I replaced that in 2018, I bought a ThinkPad uh, X1, the
Yeah,
first extreme generation,
Lenovo. Yeah,
Lenovo, yeah.
yeah,
And I think I just fell unlucky with it
yeah.
because it was a good laptop, powerful enough, but I think it had chipset problems from day one.
Mm.
Bluetooth problems, power problems, thermal problems, and I think it wasn't so much Windows, but for quite a few years, I had just a really crashy experience with Windows,
Yeah.
and it kind of put me off. And there was this thing that weighed about half a ton. It's down here somewhere. Um, weighed about half a ton, and it was had all the sort of vents on the back and everything. And it used to get really hot. And then in 2020, yeah, the M1 MacBook Air came out, and I picked one up because I did like you. I've always liked using Macs.
Yeah, yeah,
I was more of a kind of hobby sort of thing to
sure.
tinker about in the evenings. And I bought the M1 Mac, and there was this like little thin thing that
Yeah,
weighed nothing and didn't make
yeah.
any noise and flew along. And absolutely, actually, crazy enough, the i7 in my old Lenovo,
Isn't it? That's the
yeah,
one. That's the
there it is.
M1.
Yeah,
Still use it
amazing
today.
thing. Such a
Yeah.
bargain they were, weren't they?
Oh, incredible. Yeah, yeah. The quality.
And the funny thing was that little M1 absolutely devoured my ThinkPad in DaVinci Resolve rendering videos. It's
Incredible,
crazy.
right? Yeah.
And then, of course, over time, I kind of got put off by Windows. Again, it's probably not a Windows problem because it's a
No, I
great.
know. I know.
I know the modern ultrabooks are really quite sleek, but again, I'd wanted to kind of move over. But the problem is, I was doing quite a lot of driver programming, Windows driver
Mhm.
programming for
Right.
work
Yeah, yeah.
with .NET, and so the ARM chips wouldn't really emulate properly. So I had to carry on using Windows. So I wanted to move quite a few years, and that project came to an end. And then the M4 MacBook Air has just come out, and I thought, can I
Yeah.
work full time on a Mac? So I just picked up an M4, but they're cheap enough to kind of just pick one up to try. So I
Yeah.
picked up a 16 gigabyte M4 MacBook Air,
Yeah.
and could I work for 30 days? I thought, and 3, 4 months later, I'm still flying along. And because .NET, all the .NET Core stuff now, .NET 8, .NET 9, 10, is all cross-platform Mac. I can still do my ASP.NET Core work
Yeah.
on my Angular work, and it's just yeah. So never look back really.
I
But
mean, it's amazing. I mean, for me using a Mac, when when we met for a coffee all those weeks ago, Chris, and we talked about what technologies we use, I didn't mention Expo and React Native or that I do for development on that, and it's just so seamless. But Windows is as well. To be fair, when I do some tutorials, you've seen on SharePoint, it's all on the Windows platform. But here's the secret behind the wizard behind the curtain. It's actually running in a VM on my Mac. That's ARM Windows. So I just do that because obviously the majority of developers use Windows and they watch our channel and good for you. But that's what we mean. What are the cons though, Chris? Because there are cons to it. Often you'll evangelize about Apple and Apple Silicon, but there is a good tool set, isn't there, in Windows?
There is, and yeah, absolutely clear that I still do. Windows is a great platform. I suppose everyone's cons will be different, but when I was thinking about this, I thought, I suppose, as a .NET developer, one of my cons is I miss Visual Studio.
Right.
Of course, you can use VS Code. I use JetBrains Rider now on Mac,
Okay.
which does kind of 90%, 85% of what Visual Studio does. But I miss Visual Studio, specifically probably the Git experience.
Okay.
In like merging resolving funny merge problems and stuff. It's just very, very slick, and I don't think there's any better way to develop.
There's a challenge for our viewers. There we are. Put it in the comments. What?
Yeah. If any suggestions, anybody, about really good Git tools from Mac, because I haven't found anything that's better than the Visual Studio experience, but I'm open to suggestions. But yeah, JetBrains does pretty much 90% of what VS does. I miss SQL Management Studio, which
was say that's what I've always struggled with. There's some good tools, but
I could spin up a VM and stick it in, I suppose.
That's what I do. I'll use Parallels and run it on there. But it's a shame to, and nothing against Windows.
No.
Suddenly all comments, Phil. But I mean, it's just I'd like that. And again, if anybody knows a true SQL Management Studio alternative for the Mac, I'd love it.
Because you use SQL Pro, don't you?
I use SQL, which is very good, but still a lot of manual. Just something with the interface. It almost something about it doesn't seem native to the Mac somehow. Yeah, so
it's probably not.
Exactly. It's probably cross-platform or something.
But one other thing, and this is going to ignite probably serious debate.
Okay.
I do miss about Windows is Windows Explorer. I just think Finder, not quite as flexible.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just because I don't know it as well. I don't know. I do miss Explorer a bit. Sometimes it's better now because you've got tabs. I've got you in Finder now, but yeah, that's one thing that. It's a war in the comments.
Yeah. I don't want to agree with you, but I kind of feel the pressure to, because it is. I've even today when I was copying some file, I was thinking that so not intuitive. I was trying to create a new folder, and there was no option to do it. So I went to the bar, and I was in a folder, and it opened it at the top. And
in the root,
it makes no sense. And in the comments, you can say it's easy. All you've got to do is this.
Yeah, that'd be great if I'd be looking for
like, do that. Anyway, there we. On that note, Chris.
We'll, on that rant.
That rant.
Robert's rant
for a Friday. I'll see you next time. All right.
See you, mate.